Hi friends, it's Julia. I am here with my Out with the Old and Layout share for my October 2022 Counterfeit Kit Challenge kit. This kit over on the Counterfeit Kit Challenge blog was inspired by the store A Cherry on Top, their August 22 cherry box, which is a little mini kit that they, or I guess not even mini kit, it was a kit that they put together for August of 2022. Super neutral contents of that box, super pretty. And so I went through my stash. I do have a video on my October 22 playlist that goes over the kit in total of everything that I pulled in. Today I'm going to show you what's left over, what's going back into my stash, what is going to the trash, and all of the layouts that I created. I'll start off by saying I pulled these 4 stamp sets and I didn't use a single one of them. Not one time. Disappointed in myself for that. But, you know, sometimes that happens. Empty products. I finished off 2-3 sets of bling. And that always feels good when you can get some of that excess packaging out by using up products. Finally, my paper scraps. Now, these are all the scraps from the paper that was in the kit, as well as everything that I added in. And there's tons of little bitty stuff in here. Even some of that canvas, lots of border strips, and then the one larger piece with the glitter on it that I pulled in for a specific layout. Anyway, I will go through some of these border strips and keep them, and the rest will end up probably in the shred bin. Next up, I have my washi tapes. Here's another piece of paper that I had with all these silver tone frames, or pewter tone. They're kind of silver tone. Anywho, I have lots of little bits and pieces. Those will go into my leftover bin. Just something fun. These are all the washi tape flowers from my roll of washi tape. I took it and I put it on cardstock, and then I was fussy cutting them as I needed them. I have a few left over. Same with the butterflies. I have this washi tape with all the butterflies. I put them on cardstock and then fussy cut them as I needed them. So all of those will go into my leftover bin as well. I did use all of these, I think, except for the black was the only one that I did not use. And this one. These two here, I don't think I used at all, but the rest of them I did. And if you notice, I'm a little bit short, because I finished one. The one with the grid on it, not the grid, the plaid, I finished that one. Woohoo! This is also another roll that I finished this month. It wasn't in the kit, but it's one that I've had for a long time. And I've just been using it like to back layouts when I cut things out, or if I have brads through a page. I put this on the back of the brads. So 2 rolls of washi tape completed this month. And hopefully I'll have some more to complete. I'm just going to start going through some of the embellishments. I pulled in this piece of paper with all these butterflies on it, and I didn't use the first piece off of it. And that's okay. It had a little too much orange in it to really match the pages that I created, but it was super pretty. This set of chipboard, you can see I used. This set of chipboard I used, this Heidi Grace design chipboard. I used quite a few pieces from in here, but there's still tons left. I don't know, these dots I can use easily. Sometimes I can use these little pieces. I can probably use that. I could probably use this tag and these dots here, and maybe this inner square. I'm not much onto these kind of shapes, and I'm not much into frames. I would have to peel them back and to make them very thin if I choose to keep this. I'm not 100% sure I'm going to keep it yet. Sticker wise, I used quite a few pieces from here. Same here. I have a small little border strip here, and then I have this one. That's it for that sheet. I used a couple stickers from here. I used some stickers from here, and I used some stickers from here, and I used lots of these labels. And I used, I think, 2 maybe from here, not very many. I used a ton of well, no, I used a few out of this Tim Holtz thrift shop ephemera pack. But this other one, this botanical and butterfly, Holy cow, y'all, I used this a ton. And there's still a ton in here. It started off with 83 pieces. And I probably have, I don't know, maybe 50 left. This Close to My Heart sticker sheet. There's 2 pieces in here. And then I had some others on that were just chipboard that I ran through my Xyron and put adhesive on them. I have 1, 2, those little pieces, and then the title 1, 2, 3 stickers and a little piece of border strip there. This set from Cheeky Studios, I have the flare left. I didn't use any of those. And I used quite a few pieces in here, and I just spread out what I had left in there. This set from Heidi Swapp, Little Moments, I used a ton of those. I feel like I used a ton of those, probably half. I used a couple of these, not very many. These are the butterflies that I had from a previous SCI page. I feel like I used a ton of these, though I was pretty tight-handed with them because I wanted them to go farther. I have 2 sheets from SCI. This one from the Windsor collection, and you can see I used 2 little pieces here. That's it. This one from the Charmed collection I used a ton of. If I lay it down here on the, well, the brightness is gonna, but you can see I used a ton of that one. Those can go back into my stash, no problem. I can get those used at another time. I have these chipboard words from American Crafts. These are the lucky words from Amy Tangerine. Bling, you saw I finished off 3 packages, but I had pulled in a ton of bling into this kit. And I've used it all. I've used a little bit from every single sheet in here. So I'm super excited about that. They all have some sort of use. Rub-ons. I have both these packs from American Crafts. And I did use some from both. And these will probably go back into my stash for a little bit longer. I'll hang on to them and see if I can use those up. I want to get both of these used up this year for sure. These are a set of Old Basic Gray, and I did use a couple of those. I'm not sure who the manufacturer of these were, but I did use them and they were still good. I used a couple pieces from here. I used a bit of a piece from here. This is from Crafter Square that they sell at Dollar Tree. Worked beautifully. I used a couple of pieces. Again, another Crafter Square, and I used a portion of one there. These are old Close to My Heart. They're the Primavera. There are 3 sheets of rub-ons. And I don't think I used any. And these Heidi Grace ones I did not use. Alphabet-wise, I had a ton of small alphas that I added in. These 2 sets I did not use. This yellow set I did. This set I did. These I did not. These I did. These I did not. These I used. And these I used. I used these, but I'm not keeping these. I think I explained in my video. These have curled up. These are pretty old. This is copyright 2019, so they were made 2019 or 2018. I don't know. But they are not worth it. Even the glue that I used, which holds everything down, which is this art glitter glue, it's not even holding them down. I used a ton of these. These are American Crafts Marquee Thickers. I use these. These are Lush from My Mind's Eye. These are Thickers, Mosaic Thickers. I used once. I tried to use these Sticko stickers, but unfortunately I didn't have the right letters to create my title. Oh, 2 more Tiny Alphas. And I did not use this Making Memories alphabet. I did use this tiny Cosmo Cricket, and I did use these Sticko letter stickers that are craft tone. So I think most of those will go into back into my stash, with the exception of the yellow ones. That's it for everything I've used. Now, let me show you my layouts. Okay, here are my layouts. Now, All of these I did for the Christie's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches 10 for those challenges. So this was the first one that I did, and it was for sketch number 1. And you can go over to Christie's Facebook group and find all of the sketches there if you're interested. These first few I won't have process videos for. Anyway, this was just one that I had done about a retreat that I went to in Weatherford, Texas, to a Victoria Marie retreat at the Covered Bridge Inn. Anyway, so I used some of my new supplies. There's the film strip there, and the ephemera from Tim Holtz here, and up here. Those are relatively new. And then the collection, of course, the paper collection, is what I pulled in for my October retreat. I did add this background paper in, and as we go through here I will show you all the ones that I added paper into, because I wanted to make this collection stretch. I thought, oh, I'll get a whole month's worth out of it. Wrong. That wasn't going to happen. So this is the first one that I created, and I will have close-ups at the end of all the layouts that I have created. Layout number 2, I did add in this brown piece around here. That wasn't in the kit, that divided these two pages. And then the washi, the super thin washi strips, was not in the kit, and I added those in. But you can see I have the washi tape butterflies, ephemera, a washi tape butterfly there and there. Yeah, and my sweet pups. I guess I could show that to you without my little identifier here. That was sketch number 2 for the 30 days of sketches. This one was sketch number 3 for the 30 days of sketches, and I pulled this piece of paper in as far as the background goes, but the rest was part of the kit. This one I used a ton of as far as paper goes, because I had not cut into any paper yet, and so I cut a piece of 4 or 5 different papers, plus I added in this dark brown cardstock, plus I cut down some of the canvas sheeting as well. So a ton of paper on this one. And I did that faux stitching around the edges to create a sewn together look, if you will, and lots of ephemera and bling. This is layout number 4. Again, no process video, but it is for sketch 4 for Christie's Beautiful Life. And on this one I pulled in this silver shaded paper with glitter on it, and I wanted to create a frame, and that's what I did. I mitered the corners so that it would all blend together and you would have stripes coming out each way instead of a solid color at the end and at the top. And I used a ton of those silver frames around the edges to create my background for this one. This one, if you look at the sketch, I think the sketch had chevrons on it. Wasn't my thing, so I did this instead. I love how it turned out. The sketch was my starting point, but it did not, my layout did not end up looking like the sketch. And I think I had added in this darker paper as well. I pulled in a piece of cardstock from Basil to give me the background for that. Alright, now I'm going to skip ahead here to day number 25, because this was what I created for my Counterfeit Kit Challenge series. The next 7 are ones that I created for that. And so this is the first one, and like I said, day number 25, and I added in this background paper, and I want to say it was a little yellow bicycle. I don't think they made paper, or they may not even still be in business. I don't know. Anyway, I used a ton of embellishments up here. I used washi stickers. I used film strips. I used the die cuts. I used lace, ribbon. Same down here. Used all that same stuff. And even used some of my washi tape to create banners down at the bottom. But yeah, love how this one came out with that little hint of yellow in there in the background paper. It allowed me to use yellow as embellishment. This was for the second day of my Counterfeit Kit Challenge series, or number 26 for Christie's Beautiful Life. And this one, again, I was able to get some scraps used up back here. I added in this dark brown cardstock from Basic Gray. I cut the pink down, the pink polka dot flocked paper. I added in a piece of craft paper to give me some borders, and I used some of that canvas paper to border the photos that I added in. The photos are not terrific, but it's what I had, and I wanted to tell the story, which is here, so it worked. Lots of embellishment clusters on this one. I love how this one came together. This one was day number 3, day number 27 for Christy's Beautiful Life, and 3 for my Counterfeit Kit Challenge series. And this one, I think I changed it up from the original sketch. I think it had a big circle or something. Anyway, I didn't want to follow along with that, so I changed it up a little bit, and this is what I created. My 3 clusters here, and I was able to use a lot of those Heidi Swap embellishments, and like I said, I added in the darker paper to this one as well. I found myself adding in a lot of cardstock this time. This was day 4 for my Counterfeit Kit Challenge series, and day 28 for the Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches Challenge. And so here again, I added in this background piece of paper and used a lot of scraps up here to create the banners, and then scraps behind the photo as well. I added lots of scraps. I added lots of scraps for the banners at the top, even some rub-ons, and then used that darker paper that I had in my collection to create my background for the photos. And then, yeah, needed something to ground that busier background image with, so that that lighter tone cardstock worked well. This was day 5 for my Counterfeit Kit Challenge series, or day 29 for Christy's Beautiful Life Challenge. And this one, I love how this one turned out, but of course it has roses, and yeah, from my front yard even. And all the rose embellishments that I had, it worked out perfectly. I did add this piece of pink cardstock in the background. I wanted to off-center my layout, and so I cut a little bit off here and a little bit off here so that it would fit with a border of pink around the top and the edge, the left edge. And so it worked out great. Able to use some of my newer products, the ephemera pack, and the film strips, but also some older supplies as far as the bling and the lace goes. I love that I was able to use so much lace in with this kit. This was day number 6 for my Counterfeit Kit Challenge series, and day number 30 for the Christy's Beautiful Life challenge. And this is the one where I used this yellow alphabet, and I glued it down, y'all, and it's come up. I weighted it down. I put my ruler on it before I added the ephemera around there. I put my ruler on it, and then I set some stamping blocks, you know, and when you have 2 or 3 of those on there, it gets kind of chunky and heavy, and so I left it on for about 10 minutes before I finished the layout out, and it still rolled up. So that alphabet is going into my do not want bin. If somebody else wants to play with it and figure it out, they're more power to them. For this one, I did add in the craft color cardstock around the edges, and these 2 pieces of paper were in my kit, and I used more of those silver frames around this layout, and I actually took apart a tag that I received in a swap and put the leaves on here. There's one of those stickers from the sticker sheet, and I actually used a butterfly from the Tim Holtz collection. Lots of scraps up here to create the banners there. Pretty simple layout, lots of stickers on this one to create my clusters, and then some scraps for the banners. The background itself is 3 pieces of paper. This one, and then the border. This is day 7 of my Counterfeit Kit Challenge series, or day number 31 for Christy's challenge. And with this one, I was getting low on paper. I had 2 sheets left. I had this one with this pearlized finish, and then I had this striped piece of paper. Well, I cut the center out of the striped piece of paper, and then I added in this brown sheet, and it's an old close to my heart, so it's very, very thin. And then this pearlized sheet of paper is also very thin, so this doesn't have any depth to it as far as or any heft to it as far as weight goes, and it's very pliable. It'll be fine once it's in the pocket protector, in the page protector, but as it stands, it's fairly light and flexible. Anywho, so I used some of my bigger scraps in the background of this. I put that brown sheet of paper to distinguish between the striped sheet and the pearlized sheet. Yeah, and then use scraps in all of my clusters and behind the photo. And I love that how doing that I'm able to use up even the smallest of scraps. Okay, so then I was done with my 30 days of sketch layout, so I started back on my use up my kit, and I started with number 18 of the Christie's Beautiful Life. I went for a sketch that would let me use up some of my bigger, longer pieces of paper scraps. So my 3 backgrounds here, I have this pattern paper, which is an old Miss Elizabeth's. I have this cardstock, which is a basic gray, and then in the background, that was a basic gray whiskers collection. And so that's how I created my background with those papers. But then these are my scraps from the kit that I created. This one, and this border strip here. And then of course, out of this background paper here, I cut out my frames for my photos here. And then used some scraps here. In the photos that I show of this at the end, it won't have home. I was thinking Ozzy Osbourne's song, Mama, I'm Coming Home. And so that's what I was thinking when my dogs were looking at my dog, Agatha, was looking at the front door, and I asked her what she was doing, and she turned and looked at me like, Mom, he's coming home. I know he is. And so it says, oh, Mama, he's coming home. I added the home in at a later date, and I never put it in the photos. I never retook the photos. So there you go. And then finally with this kit, oh, not finally, I still have one more after this one. This is layout number 20 for Christie's Beautiful Life. I wanted to use border strips because I had a ton of them. So sketch number 20 allowed me to do that. I took the cardstock, a cardstock piece that I had left over, and I cut it down to a banner shape. And then I took all of the border strips and strips of paper that I had laying over here to the side and just figured out which ones I wanted to use. I actually cut some more of that glitter paper down in order to use that with this layout because they're dance photos. My son and granddaughter went to a daddy-daughter dance, and I had previously done a layout about that. But this one, because of just the two of them in the photo and the sparkly lights in the background and the kind of purple sheen to the ceiling, I wanted to pull that in. Her dress has roses on it, black and red roses, and so you really can't tell on this one. The last one I was able to pull in a lot of the rose embellishments that I had, but for this one I wanted to pull in some of the more purple flowers. It also has a few roses there, but I had 2 very prevalent rose, or not rose, are they mums? What are they? But they're purple, and so I wanted to pull them into this. And so I pulled in these 2 cardstock, or these 2 pattern papers. Again, this is an old Miss Elizabeth's, and then this is one of those watercolory type papers that changes color throughout the page. So it's a little more gray purple here and a little more lavender purple down here. And so I felt like because of the mixture of lights at the top, it would work well. And I love how this one came out because I was able to use the browns, I was able to use the blacks, I was able to use the metallics. I just love, love, love. This is probably going to go in a frame on the wall. That's how much I love this layout. This one is the final one. I had some larger scrap pieces of paper, so I went through and I found a sketch that I thought would work, and it turned out being sketch number 5. And so I cut my pattern papers down that I had to make it work for this layout. And here's the tag that a friend of mine made for our swap, and I used the tag here, the one that I took the leaves off of earlier, and I wanted to get it used, and because this one had some blue, I felt like I could pull it in, because when I pull this background, my granddaughter is wearing like a light blue hospital gown, and so I felt like I could pull the blue background in. This one is an old, I can't remember. Anywho, so I can't remember what the blue paper is, but it's been in my stash for a long time. It had birds on the back. Yeah, and I pulled in the craft, and I was able, because it had distressing and it had this brownish color in the distressing, I was able to pull those colors in, and I went ahead and used this tag. Used a couple pieces of lace up here, used one of the little white bows because there's a mix of white and cream on here, and was able to get this layout done. And I was able to use that tile alphabet set there. Made me super happy. Anyway, guys, that's it for this collection that I pulled together. I'm so thankful that I was able to use as much as I did, and I created 14 layouts with it. I know I've had collections where I've created more, but this one is super fun because I added so much more to it to keep working with it. Originally, I had 23 pieces of paper in them. All of them were cut into, some of them were used up, and some of them I still have a few little scraps from. But they will either go into the trash or go back into my stash to be used on a card or another layout. I will have close-ups of the photos of the layouts at the end of the video, so if you want to, stay tuned for those. And some of them will already be posted over on Christy's Beautiful Life Facebook page for her 30-day challenge. I haven't uploaded too many of them, but I plan to get them all at some point uploaded there, and they will also be on my October 2022 playlist of all the layouts that I have created with this kit, also on my Counterfeit Kit Challenge playlist. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you being here, and I would love it if you would flip me a thumbs up, and I will talk to you guys on the next video. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.